typing is an essential after dictation. Try exam-oriented typing tests, check accuracy, number of errors, gain speed, and more. Complete the typing test in a given time. Read dictation materials. Subscribe to get contents via mail. Purchase shorthand journals and more.
Sea level rise of several meters and major disruption to monsoon rains and river flows in India are among the biggest global economic risks from climate change, a policy report by leading economists and scientists has said. Climate change is likely to mean monsoon systems affect larger areas over longer timescales, and rainfall during monsoon season is likely to intensify while becoming less predictable. The largest effect which is being observed today is an increase in the year-to-year variability of the monsoon strength and the associated extremes of rainfall, said the report, called the Missing Economic Risks in Assessments of Climate Change Impacts report. The report was released 2 days ahead of the UN Climate Summit in New York. It underlined that policymakers have been receiving economic assessments that omit the biggest risks from climate change. These include periodic assessments by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the Earth Institute in Columbia University, Grantham Research Institute on Climate Change, and the Environment and the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, represented by economist Nicholas, climatologist Hans, and others, who authored the report, highlighted that the cascading impacts of destabilization of ice sheets, stronger tropical cyclones, extreme and frequent heat waves and floods, collapse of ecosystems are not being reported or analyzed accurately. For example, IPCC reports have mismatches between physical and economic impacts of climate change. IPCC's summary for policymakers for its 5th assessment report published in 2014 muted the impact on economy, saying aggregate global economic losses accelerate with increasing temperature, but global economic impacts from climate change are currently difficult to estimate. Or the summary for policymakers of IPCC's special report on global warming of 1.5 degree said risks to global aggregated economic growth due to climate change impacts are projected to be lower at 1.5 degrees centigrade than 2 degrees centigrade by the end of the century, and that impacts refer to gross domestic product, but impacts like loss of lives are difficult to monetize. Analyzing current climate science and future models, the team concluded that exceeding a threshold may trigger another, which could lead to unstoppable and irreversible impacts. For instance, the loss of ice from the Greenland ice sheet could trigger a critical threshold in the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, a system of ocean currents, causing a rise in sea level and heat accumulation in the Southern Ocean, which would accelerate ice loss from the East Antarctic ice sheet, the report explained. These cascading impacts are omitted because they can be difficult to predict and to capture in simulations using current models. Models also often cannot represent compound events such as sea level rise and storm surge impacts on exposed coastal populations, heat waves, pest and disease outbreaks. Some economic impacts are downplayed by economists if they are forecast not to occur immediately. Those in the tropics will face a combination of extreme heat and humidity. For example, at a wet bulb temperature of 35 degrees centigrade or more, sweat no longer evaporates from the skin surface and the body cannot cool down. Parts of South Asia, Eastern China, Arabian Gulf have exceeded a WBT of 31 degrees. Scientific literature has highlighted that global monsoon systems will be impacted. Monsoon rain will increase, so will monsoon variability, said climate scientist at IIT Delhi.
If you have liked the video, hit the like button and consider subscribing.